Whenever I do these pop-up webinars, I never know if anyone's going to show up. So thank you guys for coming and joining me tonight. And there's a ton of us. All right, this is awesome. Okay, so what I want to do real quick is a do now. And y'all may or may not know, but my background is education. I was in education for 10 years. And my last job before I was able to quit and start trading and traveling full time was as a assistant principal of an elementary school. So with that said, hello guys, I see you guys. Hey, Philly, Richmond, Raleigh, Raven from South Carolina. But with that said, I like to do a do now. So I'm going to share my screen, but this is what I want you to do. Tell me, what would you do if you could make an extra $200 a day? Put it into the chat box as more people are coming in. What would you do if you could make an extra $200 a day? Wonderful. And for everybody who's joining just now, this is where we are. In the comments, we are putting in what we would do with an extra $200 a day. And you guys might think that that's not a lot of money, but actually $200 a day equals $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month, $48,000 a year extra just by making $200 a day. Everybody's like, wait, what? What? You can make an extra $48,000 a year just off of $200. And this is what I did. So this is a picture of me. And for me, when I make an extra $200 a day, for me, it's about travel. I want to be able to travel more. And now I've gotten up to $1,000 a day. So now it's not just about me traveling, it's about bringing my family along. How can we travel as a group? I also was able to hire one of my family members. So just building up family wealth. This is Selenia actually, and can you guys see the screen? So for Selenia and Alex, what it meant for them to have $200 a day was quality time with their nephew. So I got this awesome text message from Selenia, and she just told me, Teri, I used to work in big law, and y'all don't have to read all this, but I'll summarize it for you. She used to work in a law firm, and she never had any time for her family. But I taught her how to trade. And once she learned how to trade, she was able to make her own money and get her time back. So for her, $200 a day meant having quality time with her family. And let me debunk a myth before we even get started. Let me debunk a myth real quick. Some of you guys are like, Teri, I don't know if I can trade because I don't have a lot of money. And I'm coming on this call because I'm interested. I just want to see what you're going to talk about, but I really don't think this is for me. So let me just let you know right now from the beginning of the call, even if you don't have a lot of money, this is a skill set that everyone should learn. If you see here, this is Carlene. She's one of my I love Carlene, great student. I actually love all my students, so they just all make me smile. But this is Carlene and her family. And you can see here in her account, she's trading with just $187. But here's the thing to look at. When you look down here at her realized profit and loss, she made $20 on this account that's less than $200. So guys, she's making almost a 10% return on her account. So as she learns this skill set, just imagine what the account will start looking like as she continues to grow, right? I have some students that actually do this. Every month they put a little bit more money into their account, but now that they have the skill set, they're able to make that money grow. But the biggest thing is she's making 10% returns on this $200 account. And that is major. If your retirement accounts made 10% in a whole year, they would be so ecstatic. So by her knowing how to do this with even a small amount, she'll continue to let that grow. And so now let's get into why you're here. And I'm going to zoom forward a little bit because I really want this time to be, let me teach you a little bit, and then I want you to be able to ask me questions. So if you're here, you're probably wondering a few different things. So you're probably wondering if you can really make money in the stock market. Is this really real? You're probably wondering how quickly can you get results? Or you're wondering how much does it take to get started? And you might have already traded before, so you're probably wondering, what am I doing wrong? Like, Teri, it's not working like you say it's working. So these are the secrets that I will actually teach you throughout this call. And please wait till the end because I have some bonuses to give out too. But these are the secrets that we'll cover. I'm going to teach you how do you trade with the bank's money. That's for all those people that are afraid you don't have enough money, and how to avoid using your own. I'll teach you how to safely invest in the stock market without feeling like you're taking a huge gamble. Because that's one of our biggest fears, right? That investing in the stock market is too scary. Then I'm going to teach you how do you identify the right stocks to invest in without doing hours of research. One of the biggest excuses that I get is, Teri, I can't be a trader because I don't have enough time. So we're going to address that. How do you do this without using all your time? And then the last thing that we'll address today is how to make a massive profit without waiting until retirement to cash out. How many of you guys want to get your money before you turn 59 and a half? And even if you are in retirement age, you might wonder, okay, Teri, how do I take care of that gap year? Or how do I make my money continue to grow without having to take the whole retirement out? Like, those are some of the questions I hear from my people getting close to retirement. And then now for so many of us, we're trying to retire early. Like, we trying to retire in our 30s and 40s. So this still applies to you too. How do you access money and make your money work without having to wait till 59 and a half? Cool. And I see two people that have your hands raised. Go ahead and write your questions in the chat because I'll come back through and scroll and make sure that I answer your questions. So why is this important for you right now? This is important for a few reasons. One, maybe you're stuck in a job that you don't really like and you need a side hustle to supplement your income. Y'all write a 1 in the chat for me if this is you. Let me see if I see some ones. Or maybe you've tried investing before and now you're looking for a better solution so that you can really start. Thank you, Rashim. I see your 1. So that you can really start building wealth. Tell me if this is you. Write a 2 in the chat if this is you. You've tried it before and it didn't work, and so now you're trying to figure out how to do it right. Thank you guys. Nia, Kendra, Jacob, Nish. I see all of you guys writing the 1s. Nina, Jay, you're writing the 2s. Wonderful. Brian, Neil, wonderful. And then what about this? What if you have a big goal and you're just trying to figure out, well, how do I use my money to pay off debt or pay for this goal that I'm trying to do? Write a 3 in the chat if that's you. I have a goal that I'm trying to pay for and I need some money to reach that goal. Oh, wonderful. Ray says 3 exclamation points, 3 and 3 exclamation points. I love it. And then the last one, what if you, or how many of you guys have savings and you know that you could be doing something better with it? So you have some money just sitting in an account and you haven't done anything. Write a 4 in the chat if that's you. Thank you, Brian. You already knew. You're like, I got it. Kristen's like 4. Thanks. I love that. You're like 2, 3, and 4. All of them. All of the above. Love it. Well, imagine if you could make $1,000 a day from anywhere in the world without having to clock into a job or have a lot of money to start with. And imagine if you were consistently moving money from your trading account to pay off your income daily, monthly, or weekly. And imagine if you were in control of your own schedule and didn't have to report in or ask for permission for time off. Y'all, this was my big why. I didn't want to have to ask anybody for permission. And even today, I think I'm allergic to bosses and allergic to asking for permission. So that's my big why. And this is what happened to me. So, and thank you guys. I see all the 4s. I love it. Annie said 4. He said I'm allergic to my coworkers. Yes, I've been there too. So here's what happened to me. I went from in 2016 having negative returns on my investments and $4,000 a month as an assistant principal to now being able to average $1,000 a day. And guys, I'm still doing this. Even today, I made $1,000 on Amazon. I made it in about 20 minutes and then went on about the rest of my day. But this was actually the turning point for me. So I was in this job that I hated, and I'm gonna go in a different direction. So I was in this job as an assistant principal, and I love the kids. Like, you guys see the kids there. I love the kids, but I was drowning at work, like drowning at work. My boss had quit 2 weeks before I got started, so I never really got any training. Then they told me, well, you're gonna have to work nights, weekends, every day, all day. And then on top of that, I had some petty administrators that would just nitpick on every single thing that I did. So I never felt good enough. I was stressed out. Then I'm a stress eater. So then I was eating, gaining weight. Just, it was a bad situation. So I was stuck in that situation. And then on top of that, I found out that my friend passed away. So this is my friend John, and this is like our crew back in Chicago. So I'm in this horrible job, and then my friend passes away, and I'm getting all these text messages at work like, hey, did you hear about John? Did you hear about John? Oh my God, did you hear about John? And I'm like, what is going on? And what's crazy is when I finally figured out that he had passed away, I remembered about this one conversation him and I had had. So he wanted to go on a trip to Jamaica with his girlfriend at the time. He then married her, and I love her today. They had a beautiful son together. He actually was, when he passed away, the baby was 1 year old. So like you can just tell like this was a horrible situation. But I remembered, like we had this one conversation, and I had told him not to go on the trip to Jamaica with his girlfriend because he didn't have any money. And I was like, John, you can't afford it right now. Like, wait until you get some money, till you get your career under your belt. Then you guys could go on the trip, because he was going to do it on a credit card. And I remember that I had this conversation with him, and I had told him not to go on the trip. But do you guys remember the one thing I was thankful for when he passed? I was thankful that he went on that trip. Like, what if he had waited like I told him to and just waited for the next thing to happen, but he didn't have that much time. So this is the question that I have for you guys. And you guys may or may not know, I'm also like, this is not what the cold call is about, but I'm also in ministry. And I think that everything we do should have a bigger purpose than just money. And so with that in mind, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions. What would you regret if you passed away today? Because that was the thing that I regretted. When John passed away, I was like, I'm so thankful that he went on that trip. I'm so thankful that he did it. And for you guys, like if you didn't have, years and years from now, like what's the one thing you wish that you got a chance to do? Traveling more. Yes, thank you, Toy. Because here's the thing, guys, life is just too short. And I realized that when my friend passed, and I realized that, finish my book, buy a home, thank you guys. I realized that life is just too short. And I was sitting in this job that I hated, and that's when I realized, okay, I've got to get out of this situation. And for me, my exit strategy actually was investing. I said, if I could just make $300 a day in the stock market, then I could leave this job behind and I could actually go travel, which is what I really wanted to do in life, because I would regret not seeing the rest of the world. And so, oh, wonderful. Go back home, overseas, travel. I would regret not having freedom. Yes, yes. So, as I was saying, when I finally figured out that, you know what, something's got to change, something's got to give, I started practicing investing. And I started practicing every day. I took some courses, and y'all, my courses were crazy. My courses were $20,000 a course. So that just tells you how much I really wanted to learn how to invest. Play my drums more. Thank you, Graylin. Regret not starting a family. Yes, Kaylina. So I started investing, started working on the stock market, and here's what happened. So like I had gone to MIT, a little bit of my background, I had gone to MIT, I had invested, or I had worked on Wall Street in college. So I knew that investing was a thing. And even while I was working in education, I had been investing as a side hustle. So when I got serious and was like, look, I'm going to do this full time, I was serious. I was all in. I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn how to make this work for me, because I know that I've seen some people on Wall Street make this work for them. It is a thing. So I took the classes, got serious, worked my way up from that $100 a day to $200 a day to $300 a day, and made it. At $300 a day, I quit my job and started traveling all over the world. So this is me in Australia, which was my, thank you, Kristen. She's like, nice photo. So this is me in Australia, traveling to my dream location because I finally made it. And so for me, I traded and traveled for 2 years. I quit my job in 2017 and started immediately traveling. So like the first place that I went was South Korea. So this is me in South Korea with my little dress. And then I went to Japan, Thailand, Vietnam. Then I went to Australia again. And when I came back, after those trips, I came back home. That's when I did my first class for investing in the stock market. When I I did one in Thailand and I took pictures on Instagram. Then I did one in Vietnam and I took pictures. And so when I got home, my friends were like, we know you're going to teach us. And lo and behold, I did a session May of 2018, so just last year. And all these people showed up. And I was like, what? Are you serious? Like, you guys really want to learn how to invest? And they were like, yes, Teri, we want to learn how to invest. But look how happy you look. Oh. So yes, so all these people showed up. And what's crazy is I told them, okay, well, if anybody wants to really learn how to invest, I have an online course that I'm creating. If anybody wants to learn, then I'll do it. Y'all, I didn't think anybody was going to take the class, but 2 people in here bought the course immediately, and I started creating a course. So started speaking, teaching investors how to be successful, and lo and behold, that's where we are now. So if anybody's excited about learning today, how do you trade and travel, that's what we're going to talk about. I told you already the secrets that I'm going to unveil to you today, but just that this is my story, so you know a little bit more about me. And this picture is the epitome of me trading and traveling. I was investing in Chipotle and I made $20,000 on the beach in Mykonos. And I'm like looking out at the water, my friends swimming, and I'm just trading on my cell phone, and I made $20,000. So this is what I'd like to share with you guys. So this is what we'll learn today. And it's I'm going to share how investing is a substantial way to build wealth. Because I know some people are still a little bit, you're like, but Teri, investing, like you still have some myths and fears about it. So we're going to talk about how investing is an important way to build wealth. Then we're going to go into the 4 secrets that I revealed. I'm going to tell you how to do those things. And then I'll share how you can work alongside of me. And like I said, I'm trying not to go too long, but I know that I can get excited. So after this, I also want to make sure you get your bonuses and can ask me any questions. So real quick though, let's talk first about investing in the stock market as an investing tool, because many of us, I'm going to say just myself, have originally learned that you should invest in real estate. So I want to do a quick comparison of real estate versus investing to show you how this is a substantial way to build wealth. So if you got a rental property, here are just some quick numbers. Like let's say you got a rental property, your rent was $1,500 a month for it. The mortgage you're paying is $1,000 a month. So, and then you have to pay a couple more fees like homeowners association. So your take home from the rent after fees is $300 a month. Good investment, you're actually making some cash flow each month, right? But this is the thing that people don't often think about. Well, how much did you have to put down to make this $1,500 a month? You usually had to buy the property and put down a down payment. And let's just assume the house was $100,000 and you're putting down 20% because it's an investment property. So you're putting down $20,000. If you only paid $100,000, you probably have to pay for a little bit of repair, so that's $10,000. And then your total upfront cost is $30,000. So now the question is, how long will it take you to get your money back? If you're getting $300 a month, but your upfront fees were $30,000, y'all, it's going to take you 8+ years to get your money back. And the whole time that you have this investment, you actually had to give up $30,000 to the bank in order to start getting $300 back. Valid way to have an investment. This is an investment property, But let me show you what I could do as an investor in the stock market with $30,000. So this is me. I've done several 5-day challenges. They're all also on Instagram. So if you guys go to at I'm an investor on Instagram, you'll find posts about all of these. So you can see what I actually invested in, what the stocks were. Oh, Glenn's like she's very passionate about what she teaches. Oh, thank you. I am. I really love this stuff, and I just want more people to know about it. Like, I just feel like more people need this because we're trapped in jobs and we feel like we don't have any other way. So this is the 5-day challenge that I did. And on Monday, so I'll just walk you through like the days. Thank you, Glenda. That just made me blush. So Monday, I made $3,700. Tuesday, I made $1,500. Wednesday, I made $3,800. Thursday, $1,100, and Friday, $4,400. By the end of that week, I had made $14,634 off of my $30,000 investment. So this is the difference. Like instead of making $300 a month off of your $30,000 investment, I'm making $14,000 a week on my $30,000 investment. And I still have access to my cash. I still have access to the 30,000. So this is why I think, like, this is why I'm so passionate about letting people know, like, there's another way to invest. And then, like, following that, I went to FinCon. This is actually last year. We just had a recent FinCon, but we didn't have a lot of time. And we're going to talk about this week a little more later when we talk about time and how to save time. I only had about 5 hours to invest this week, and I made $6,000. So that's almost that's a little more than $1,000 an hour that I was making investing. Uh-oh. There we go. And then this last week, I took some time off and I actually worked 3 days that week, but I made $3,727. And one of the reasons why this is so important to me is because as an assistant principal, my monthly salary was $4,000. So for me to have only like work 3 days of that week and still made almost my same monthly salary, like this is why I feel like everybody needs to know how to actively invest. Whether you do it all the time or not, like you just need to know this skill set. And somebody I know is going to say, well, Teri, what about more recently? What have you done recent? So this actually was this summer. So this was a week from May 31st to June. And this week, I know it's kind of hard. You're like, when you're looking through this, you're like, Teri, what am I supposed to look at? This is so many numbers. Where you should look is down here at the bottom. So where it says totals, and then it says $13,000, that week I made $13,000 in a week. And one of the coolest trades was this first one that I did on Amazon, where I made $9,000 in profit. And the reason why I love it is because, check out the chart. Do you guys see this red candle right here? This one that went from 1750 down to 1677. Like this candle, when the stock market was falling, was when I made $9,000 because I was shorting it. I was shorting Amazon. And so I made money as it went down. So like that's the cool, like that was one of my most fun trades. I was like, oh my God, I'm making money. So it's like, it's really cool. And a lot of people don't know that you can make money on the way down. So anyway, let's keep it moving. Some of you guys have probably wrote yourself off. You're like, oh my God, that's amazing, but I don't think I could do that. So come back in, because if you are any of these things, if you like taking initiative, if you like learning new things, if you take pride in your work, this is for you. Like you can do it, especially if you love to see things done more efficiently. I feel like people who like to see things efficient are really good at having discipline with trading. It's just kind of cool. But you can do this, and let me show you how. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you the 4 secrets of how I make $1,000 a day. And it's going to go through this process right here. And I think I actually have another slide that shows you. Yeah, let's look at it this way. So, okay. So first we're going to start with picking good companies. Then we're going to go to protect portfolio. Then we'll go to price trade, and then we're going to go to pushing forward. Like, these are the areas that I actually go through every time. And y'all, Kalina wants to know what the webinar address is. So would somebody put that in the chat box for her so that she can send it to her dad? Thank you. We'll get it to you. And then what is shorting? Oh, we'll talk about that, Crystal. Great question. We'll talk about that at the end. Wonderful. So here we go, guys. So when you're picking good companies, and actually let's just move forward. But let me tell you, these are the sections we're going to cover, and this is each one of these. I have some secrets for you in these buckets. So first, when we're talking about picking good companies, I need to first address your fear, and then I can keep going and talk to you a little bit more about what the solution is. So the fear is that you need a lot of money to invest. That's what people fear. And what it leads to is it leads to them thinking that they need to pick penny stocks. And there's this myth floating that you need to get penny stocks or really cheap stocks in order to invest because you don't have a lot of money. But guys, that is totally a myth. In order to really make money in the stock market, you need to pick value companies, which are best in breed. So that's the truth. The truth is you need to buy value companies that are best in breed. And Teri, what does that mean? It means that if you're looking at a sector of companies, and this up here is the CNBC app, which is one of my favorite apps. Let's see if we zoom in a little bit. Okay, let me tell you something and then I'll walk you through this. But a best in breed company is a company that in a sector, this company is the best in that area. So for example, let's think about airplanes. So in airlines, you have Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, Spirit, right? But what I would want you to do is I'd want you to actually, yeah, I'm gonna tell you how to do this. But I'd want you to figure out which one of those companies in that sector is the best company. And then I want you to invest in that one. Because when you invest in the best companies in the sector, that usually leads to higher returns, okay? So we're gonna be looking for the best in breed companies. And one of the ways that you can find this, of course, I go in my trade and travel course, I go into this in so much more depth. So we can't cover all of it here, but just know, like, I can teach you more about this. But one quick tip for you is download the CNBC app. The CNBC network is a financial network that covers financial news all day, but they also have an app. And when you download the app, you can create a watch list. And so a watch list is where you can put in companies. So the companies here that I have are just companies that I like. And one of the bonuses, I'm going to tell you a little in advance, one of the bonuses if you get the course tonight is my watch list. So it's bigger than this, of course. But these companies are companies that I've thought of, that I've liked for a while. You can put them into your watch list. And then once they're in your watch list, CNBC will give you notifications whenever there's news on those companies. It'll give you notifications of like how the stock price is moving each day. So this will allow you to start looking at those companies and figuring out which one is best in breed. And one other tip I'll give you is when you're building out your watch list, if you're trying to figure out which company is best, I want you to put the company you like and maybe one or two of its competitors in your watch list. And then as you're watching them each day, I want you to see which one moves the most on a good day when the market is up, and then which one loses the least when the market is down. So like today, the market came down, Dow was down 94 points. When the market came down, we need to see which one of those out of your company and the competitors actually went down the least, because that one's probably the stronger company out of that group. So a couple extra tips just to put in there. But that is one secret of how you're gonna find the best in breed. And then one other secret I'll give you in this section is one of the things that I teach my students how to do is we open a margin brokerage account. And a margin account, and let me just put out some disclaimers real quick. One disclaimer, I am not a broker, so I'm not telling you what to do. When you invest, you're investing at your own risk. And I will tell you that margin accounts are risky. If you lose more than your amount of money, you're going to have to pay the bank back. So do know that this is something that is risky, but also know that I'm a good teacher and I'm going to teach you how to make sure you protect your risk on these. But one of the things that absolutely blew my mind when I was first trading was these margin accounts let you trade with the bank's money. And usually they let you trade with 2 to 4 times the cash amount in your account. So say for example, and I know this example scares people because they're like, Teri, I don't have $25,000. Actually, with a margin account at my current broker, TradeStation, you only need to have $2,000 in your margin account for them to give you the extra money. So for example, if I have $2,000 in my margin account, they'll let me trade with 4 times that. So they'll let me trade with $8,000 per day. And that's what I'm getting at with this example here. I don't want you to get scared. But say you had $25,000, your daily buying power would actually be $100,000. And why is this important? Well, it's important because many of us feel like we don't have enough money to invest. But when we realize that there's these margin accounts out there, we can actually do more with a smaller account. So for example, this is Miss Baylor. She's one of my students, and she sent me this testimonial about how she was doing in her trade. And one of the coolest things in here, and because of time, I won't run through this, but I am recording. So I'll send you guys an email with the recording in the next couple days. But Miss Keisha sent me this email, and she had made $1,200 in less than 12 days. And she goes through it all in here. She tells me the exact shares, exact numbers, but also when my students report things to me, I usually ask them for pictures. You know, no picture, no proof. So she sent me these pictures, and check this out, guys. So she took a trade in TTD. That's the trade desk. Don't forget the disclaimer. I'm not telling you what to invest in. We're just looking at some examples of my students. But she invested in TTD. And she invested in it at 198. It's actually come down since then. Good time to buy, maybe. I'm not telling you what to do. But but let's look at this. So she bought 26 shares of the trade desk. And you can see that she has some profit already on this trade. But the total cost of this trade was $5,141, right? So you would assume that in order for her to take this trade, she needed to have $5,000 or $4,200 in her account, right? Like that's what usually we think. You have to have this amount of money that you need for the trade. But check out her account. So she sent me her account. She only has, and actually check out this, before she did that trade, she only had $2,652 in her account, but she was able to make a trade for $5,000. Why? Because she's using margin. Margin allows her to have a bigger buying power, and then that buying power allowed her to have a bigger profit. So when she finally realized the trade, she had made $889.50 on that trade, and her account size is now only but her account size is now $3,550. So this return is like a 33% return on her account size. And some of you guys may not feel like that's a big deal, but if your 401k came back to you and told you they had made a 33% return, would you be excited? Man, I think everybody in the world would be excited. So this is the kind of thing that you can do when you're able to use a margin brokerage account. So that's one secret that I want to tell people about. But do know, like I said, margin accounts are risky. So the next question is, well, Teri, what do you do to protect your risk? And one other thing I will say about margin accounts is a margin account is kind of like a line of credit in real estate. So in real estate, if you get a line of credit, like a home equity line of credit, it's there. The money is there if you need it, but you don't have to use it. And when you do use it, you do pay an interest rate on it. So do know that when we're using this margin, we pay a small interest rate. For us, I think it's 10% a year, but then when you break that down over 365 days, it's like less than like 0.1%. 1% a day to hold the money overnight. So I won't get into the details, but do know you are going to pay a little bit of percentage to use the money, but usually we only use the money for one night or one day. So you don't actually have to pay that money unless you hold it for a long time. You don't have to pay that interest rate, I'm sorry, unless you're holding it for a long time. But like I said, we can go much more in depth in the course, but I just want to let you know kind of some of the things that are out there that you may not have known was possible. So now, quick check for understanding. Do you guys see, and please put a 1 in the box if you understand this, how using a margin account can help you afford more valuable companies and give you better return than penny stocks? 1, good. So you're seeing like this is possible. This is kind of what I could do if I don't have a large account size, but I really want to learn that skill set. All right, now the next thing, wonderful. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for putting your answers in the chat. So now let's go on to the next secret. So the next secret is protecting your portfolio. So I just told you guys using these margin accounts is risky. So what do? Well, let me tell you this second thing. Most people's fear is that the stock market is too risky, and that's why they don't invest. There's this myth that the stock market is a gamble, right? And how many of you guys have heard that the stock market is a gamble? Now, you can tell me, yes, I have. Talk back to me. I'll tell you, I'm a teacher. I need you to respond back. Good. I see people saying, yes, I've heard it. Thank you guys. Heard it all. Thank you, Ray. Armel's like, yes. Veronica's yes. Althea's yes. Thank you. So Jacob, you're like, yes, I thought it was too risky. Exactly. So now let me tell you some secrets that take the myth out of it. So here's the thing. The truth is that trading is a calculated risk. For investors that are professionals, we think of it more like taking a free throw, and we're looking for trades that are more like Steph Curry taking a free throw. So if you take a free throw, yes, there's a probability that you won't make it, right? Because nobody knows if you're really going to make the free throw. But Steph Curry's percentage average is like 80-90%. There's a 90% chance that when he takes the free throw, he will make the shot. And the thing is, well, what if we could figure out trades that are 90% probable to be successful, or have a 90% probability to be successful? And for us as traders, we're not even usually looking for things that are 90% because that's a bit high in trading. If we could get a trade that is 70%, has a 70% likelihood of being successful, that'd be a trade that is worth taking. And so the question is, okay, Teri, well, how do we find trades that have 70% probability? Or how do we even, first of all, figure out the probability of a trade being successful? Well, let me give you a couple. Oh, Neil says 92%. Oh, wow. I feel like his average has gone up. Cool. So let me give you a couple secrets on how we could figure out the probability. So the first thing is, when you enter a trade, and you have to use charts to do this. And we'll talk about charts in the next section, actually. But when you think about where you're entering a trade and then look at where we're exiting, you're able to calculate the potential reward of a trade. Okay? And likewise, though, there's an order type called a stop order. A stop order is an order type that will get you out of a trade if the trade goes wrong. So if for whatever reason the stock starts going down, your stop will get you out of the trade so that you can know exactly what your risk is before you even take the trade. And if any of you guys, and you don't have to be great in math, take that out of your mind. You do not have to be great at math to be a trader or to make money in the stock market. But the question I do have for you is, if we know our reward and we know our risk, then we can figure out the probability. Does that make sense to you? Like if you knew that your reward was 3 times your risk, well, a 3-to-1 probability, that's a good trade. So if you can figure these things out and I will teach you how to do that, so don't be afraid. But the point is, there are ways to calculate the probability of each trade. And you do it by figuring out the reward and risk ahead of time. And you also do it by these stop order limits in your trade. So that's the secret. The secret is putting in a stop loss to protect your risk. And what is a stop loss? I'm gonna just explain this one more time just so that people can really get it. So when I did this is a zip line in Puerto Rico. So I went down this huge zip line in Puerto Rico, and at the end of the zip line, I hit this buoy, and this buoy like immediately stopped my momentum. That's what a stop loss is. A stop loss is if your stock is going down in the wrong direction, this stop will take you out of the trade, and you can actually determine your stop. So you personally get to determine your risk tolerance. If you said, I don't want to lose more than $100, you put that stop in so you don't lose more than $100. If you're saying, okay, I don't want to lose more than $1,000, put that stop in. But what I see is a lot of traders, especially novice traders, trade without any kind of protection. And when the stock market has crazy days where we get some random news, all of a sudden their account is diving down because they didn't have anything to get them out of the trade. So this is what we're doing to protect ourselves. And I actually have 4 other things that I teach you, like quantity size, how do you know market timing. I teach you several other things too to make sure that you're not making these mistakes and you can protect your risk. But one of them is stop loss. So I want you guys to know about that. And this is one of my students. So this is Raymond. Raymond actually, y'all, was my first student. And I love him to death. He was making $10 an hour in his job. So every time we made $10 investing, I just jumped for joy because I knew that was $10, or that was 1 hour he didn't have to work. And he did kind of hard labor. So I'm like, man, like we just saved him an hour of work. Like he didn't have to do overtime for an hour this week because we just made that in stocks with his money. So, but this is Raymond. And so he says, I just wanted to show you how your class affected my week, avoided those 5 mistakes, and not being greedy paid off. I'm ready for next week to see if I can stay consistent. Thanks again. But this is what we can do with stop losses. So quick check for understanding. Does this make sense? Does it make sense how putting in a stop loss to set your risk and calculating high probability trades would lead to less risk? You guys can put yes in the chat. It does. Good. Yes, yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Corey says yes. Trish says makes sense. Wonderful. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Wonderful. Okay, so let's keep going then. So now that we know how we're protecting our risk, now we need to know how do we price the trade correctly. One of the fears that I often hear, and we're going to tackle a fear too. I'm going to give you the secret, but I also want to tackle some fears. One of the fears that I also always hear is that people don't have time. Like, Teri, I know that I should be investing, but I just don't have time to do it. And I think the myth is, like, the reason why people think this is because there's some myth that it takes hours of research in order to be a good investor. You've got to research the stock, know everything about the company before you can really take the trade. And that's actually a myth, especially for someone like me who's an active investor. I'm investing for income. So I don't have to do hours of research like fundamentals because I'm looking for companies that I can make income on. And the question is, okay, Teri, well, how do you do that? I do that reading charts. And when you learn how to read charts, it takes a lot less time than doing fundamental research. Now, quick note, do I invest in companies that meet fundamentals? Yes. Every company that I invest in, like I have about 30 companies right now that I invest in for the long run. They are very good companies and they would probably meet any fundamentalist requirements. But I'm just trading in and out of them, and I'm able to trade in and out of them quickly because I know how to read a chart. Okay? So this is what saves me time so that I can make more money. This is a chart of AutoZone. And guys, AutoZone actually is above $1,000 now. So you can see how long I've been trading it. But when I see this chart, like I can immediately see where we're taking a trade. And like, it's like, for me, I can see it in less than a minute. So the secret in order to limit your time is you got to learn how to read charts, because reading charts takes a lot less time. And you have to learn how to limit your watch list. That's just another little freebie. But remember how I told you guys I have 30 stocks that I have on my watch list? I watch those 30 stocks consistently. And then those 30, like I said, I just trade in and out of. Because there's some people who I've seen, some students who've come to me and they've been watching like 100 companies. Guys, you can't successfully watch 100 companies. Limit your list, get you several ones, like several stocks that you really like and that you're good at trading, and just trade those consistently and you can make your money. I have a couple students that just trade one stock. They have gotten really good at reading the charts of one stock and they make their money every day. Done. And then the cool thing too is because they're trading one company, they know it so well, like they can usually meet their goals in less time, like 20 minutes. Actually, let me show you an example. I think Annette is in this example. Okay, I'm going to show you me, and then I want to show you Annette because she literally has met her goals in 20 minutes. So I told you guys about this, and I'm going to skim through this pretty fast. But that week that I made $6,000, like this is the amount of time that I spent each day. So I think this was the day where I made 1,500. Here, let's check real quick. This is the week I'm talking about. 1,000, 1,400. I lost a little bit on Thursday. You will have some losses. Don't think you're never going to lose. You will have some losses, but we're just making calculated risk, right? So this is one that I lost, but I knew what I was losing so that I could have this other day where I'd make 3 times that, right? So, okay, these are the days. We're looking at this, 1,000, 1,400, 5,400. Let's see how much time I spent. So this one was $1,000. It was like $1,010, 48 minutes. This one was $1,400. I spent 1 hour, 27 minutes. And then this was Friday, that $5,400 day. I spent an hour and a half. So if anybody here is like, I want to make $5,000 in an hour and a half, learn how to trade stocks. Learn how to read charts more than that. Someone says, so that explains how Jim Cramer does it. Reading charts. Yes, and some of you guys are going to say like, Jim Cramer never talks about charts, but if you actually look at his show, many times he'll bring in people that are charting experts, and you better believe he knows how to read a chart. He knows how to get in and out. That's how he ran his hedge fund. Like, you've got to know how to read a chart as a professional trader. But in this thing where I was telling you guys about saving money, or excuse me, saving time, check out Annette. So I love Annette. She's also one of my great students. And you guys can, let me see if I put her Instagram on there. She always talks about the money that she's making from the class. So if you have any questions that you want to ask a student of mine, this is her Instagram, Annette's Worth. Is that right? Annette, I think this actually should be Annette's _ Worth instead of 0. Yeah, I don't want to mess anything up. Go back out. But check her out. Just look her up. Look for Annette. Try Annette's _ Worth. But it's back to the presentation because it's not even about that. But she made $2,599 on a trade on Amazon. And back to this idea of shorting, she made this when the stock market was going down. So you see this, she's like, I had a great day with Amazon on Friday. This is the most I've ever made in a day. I actually stuck to my rule of getting out while I'm in profit and not going back in, thinking I could do better. We had been talking about that, right? She's one of my VIP students, so I actually personally coach her. And I had been talking to her about not being greedy. Don't be greedy. And so she's like, I didn't do it. I had this great day. But the coolest thing, if you read down in her message, also, so she's like, thank you for your lessons in greed. I had to be grateful for this amount, and it was more than enough for me. I was done in 20 minutes. So she did this $2,600 in 20 minutes, learning how to read charts. So let's do a quick check for understanding. You guys put money in the chat this time if this makes sense. So do you guys understand how if you had a small number of positions and got familiar with their charts, that you could actually, that would lead you to taking less time? Put money in the chat if that makes sense. Wonderful. Sharon says money. Tio says money. Armel says money. Wonderful. Shamel money. Donna money. Wonderful. Thank you guys. Money. Perfect. Y'all are with me. Wonderful. So now let's go into this last secret. We're going to push forward. So the last secret is, good. John says money. Howard says money. Corey says, have to sign off, but this is awesome. I'll be joining the course. Wonderful, Corey. Welcome. Welcome to the course. Go ahead and as soon as you enroll, you immediately get access to the course, and then we start live group coaching calls, kind of similar to this, next Monday. So if you're available Monday nights, we do this for the next 7 weeks. We'll be starting next week. So awesome. But actually with course content, and then we'll answer questions. But wonderful, Corey. See you soon. Cool. So let's go back to the fears. So the last fear that I hear often is you can't time the market. And how many of you guys have heard this myth? You just got to hold it. It's a buy and hold. It'll grow over time. How many of you guys have heard that you should just buy and hold? Yep. Everybody's like, yes. Jamal's like, yes. Nina, yep. Yep. I'm seeing tons of yeses. So yes, but here's the thing. So as an active trader for income, you have to remember that trading, like the stocks don't go up in a straight line. And I think now more than ever, we know this because we've seen what's been happening to the stock market the last few months, especially with the trade war looming. We'll have one day where the market will be up great, even like recently we had some great days, and then the next day it'll be down 3 days in a row. So you all know more than anything that the stock market, the stocks don't go up in a straight line. They go up and down. So as someone who is an active investor versus buy and hold, you can make quite a bit of money as those stocks are going up and down. You don't have to just sit there and let your account drop without doing anything. And remember, you don't have to have huge goals. Like just by us making $200 a day, it actually led to an extra $48,000 a year. So even if you're just making $200 a day as the stocks are going up and down, you can make good money. And guys, I actually, a dog barked. I was like, what is that? And guys, I actually encourage you, like, you don't have to day trade. You can be a more swing trader and make weekly returns. So instead of saying my goal is $200 a day, you could say, well, I have a weekly goal of $1,000 a week. Totally legit, totally possible. And you still make an extra $48,000 a year just by being able to actively trade. And I want to just do a quick comparison because some people are going to say, well, Teri, like, you know, if Warren Buffett says buy and hold, who are you to say actively trade? You're not Warren Buffett. You're right. I am not Warren Buffett, but, and I'm okay with that. But here's the difference. So in houses, if you're investing in houses, you could either be someone who's a long-term investor in a house, so you buy the house and you want it to go for long-term, or you're someone who flips houses, right? We've seen that. There's just two different types of investing. Neither one is better than the other. The flipper is just trying to make their money quicker, so they're fixing it up, putting it on the market as soon as possible to get some money quickly. The buy and hold real estate investor is probably going to live in it for a while, wait for it to appreciate, and then sell it later. Both of them are investments. They're just different types of investments. And that's what I'm trying to let you guys know here. Investing for the long term or investing for the short term are both beneficial, but it just depends on your actual goals. If you have goals that you need money right now, like paying off bills, traveling, replacing income, then active investing, it may be a good thing for you. And here's an idea. Neil's like, Warren's not going to teach you either. True. So this is a chart from last year. So not this year, but last year. So this is Facebook's chart, and Facebook opened up the year at around $175. By the end of the year, or by October of last year, it had gone down to 162, and by December of last year, it had gone down to like 120. So if you had invested in the beginning of the year and then waited until the end of the year, you would have lost throughout the whole year. if that's what you invested in. But, so that's like the long-term investor. It's not guaranteed that you will make money if you invest over a longer amount of time. But if you were an active investor, you see how, so the stock started here, and I know I haven't taught you guys yet how to read charts, but just follow along with me for a second. So the stock actually went up in price to about 195. So imagine that you sold it when it got up here to 195. Then it went down to about 150. You got back in when it went down low, and you rolled it back up to when it got up here to 220. You could have made several times in this year, you could have made really good money. Just from 150 all the way back up to 120, that's $70 per share. That's a huge return. So instead of just letting it buy and hold and letting it sit all year and having it go down, if you had actively traded this, and even if these are monthly candles, so even if you weren't trading it every day, but just looking at it every few months, you could have made some really good moves and made some money in your account. So that's all I'm saying. There are really great ways to be an active investor and make some good returns instead of just buying and holding until you're 59 and a half. And nothing's wrong with 59 and a half. I'm just saying that's the retirement age. So let me give you a quick example of some students that have done this well. I'm going to push forward from this one. This is another student, and just ironically, her name is also Keisha, but one of my other students, and she hadn't even been trading very long with me, but she sent me this text message, and she was like, oh my God, Teri, you're not going to believe it. If you look down here towards the middle, so the CME trade was a day profit of $12.50. So she made our we have like a little club of $1,000 a day club. So she made the club. She did this trade and made over $1,200 in one day. And you can see, like, she got her picture for proof. So she's made the $1,000 a day club. And what I loved here was she said, also just the fact that you've taught me not to hold on to trades. I've sold almost all of my long-term holds, which has been such a blessing with the tariff mess. Appreciate you so much. And if you guys remember, right after the new round of tariffs were announced, the stock market dropped like 950 points. So Keisha was able to get out of some of those longer-term positions while they were up, while she had gains. Then once the tariff mess fell, she was able to get back into the stocks when they came down. So she's made $1,250 in a day, but not only that, she also saved herself from losing because she was able to get out of some trades. So that's what you can do by being a more active trader. Just knowing this skill set will help you protect your portfolio and just manage it better. And then this was also kind of cool. So she sent me this one text, and she had, at that time, her base day was $12.50. But then look at this one. She sent me another one, and this is a different day. I never really realized. So this is 10:22. This is 10:23. So I guess it's my phone. I was gonna say she texts me about the same time every day. Maybe that's like her break at work. I digress. But this is what she said then. She's like, good morning, Teri. Today is my birthday, and I had to share the absolute best birthday gift to myself was purchasing your class. Today, I made $1,900 with Amazon. And she does go in to say, like, I'm not going to say that you always win, but man, like, this was the best day and the best gift. So you guys, I know I zoomed in quick on there. So she's like, good morning, Teri. Absolute best birthday gift to myself was purchasing your class. Today I made $1,900 with Amazon. That's so good. Like, this even makes me excited because I just know all the students that I'm impacting. Like, this is cool. Like, this is why we do this. So does this make sense? Trading in and out of a position can help you make consistent income, which can lead to better returns than buy and hold. And doesn't have to, but sometimes it can lead to better returns. So please put money in the chat one more time if this makes sense. Yes, money, yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Everybody says money. Wonderful. Good. Well, I'm so glad that this made sense. That was the 4 secrets that I wanted to share with you guys. So let me quickly do a final check and then we can open it up for questions. So did you learn? So today I taught you the 4 secrets to how to make $1,000 a day without spending hours in front of the computer. And these are the 4 secrets we covered. So we covered opening a margin account to make more money. We talked about secret number 2 was calculate your risk to reward to protect your account. Secret number 3 was read charts to save you time and make larger returns. And then secret number 4 was I wanted you to trade in and out of a stock to make more frequent returns. That's how you can pay your bills and travel the world doing that. So here are your options. Once you know those secrets, you have 2 options. So one option is you could do that all by yourself. And you could take all those secrets I gave you and try to make them work for yourself. So what if you set up your trading plan so that you could pick good companies, set up stop losses, read charts, run short sales. Remember, that's when you make money if the stock market goes down, and make money in any market. Like, you can do that. And once again, like, your goal is $200 a day. And everybody's goal will be a little different. So it could be $100 a day for you, or even $100 a week. I have some students that are like, Teri, I'm going to start with $2,000 in my account. So my goal is $20 a day. If I could make an extra $100 a week, I would be super excited. So your goal can be different. But the question is, do you want to do this all by yourself, or do you want some help? And let me know if anybody in here is like, Teri, I really want to do this, but I need some help. Now, I can put it in the chat box. Do you want to know how to get my help? Alana's like, help. Someone's like, help me, help. Yes, yes. Of course I want help. Yes, help me, please. Okay, cool. Your help is needed. Wonderful. Okay, cool. Well, good. I'm glad, because I was like, well, if they don't want my help, okay, good, then we're done with we'll be done. So let me just tell you, because just like my first class, many people do need help. And like here, if y'all could see right here in the red shirt with the cross on it, this is Joanna. She also is one of my first students. But guess what? She paid $45,000 to go to one of my competitors. Because most of the time when you go to an investing course, they usually charge you like $20,000 per class. So she paid $45,000 to learn how to trade from one of my competitors, and she never learned how to trade. And no, I'm not going to charge you $45,000, not even close to that. But the point is, they never taught her how to trade. But then she came to me, and then you can check out this text message she sent me, and she had made $27,000 or $2,700 in a day trading with what I taught her. So yes, if you need help, I will give you my help, because I just don't think it's right when people pay a ton of money to my competitors and they don't learn how to trade. That's just not okay. Like, it's just not okay. And one of the things that my students often tell me is that I'm a good teacher. So this one right here, I zoomed in on. Teri's an incredible instructor, and I'll keep going because I want to get to your questions, but that was Ray. Uche, another thing, Teri is a natural born teacher. Her ability to simplify the complexities of the stock market is so very much appreciated. So, like, yeah, one of the reasons why people come to me is because I'm a teacher. Which makes sense. I was in education for 10 years, and often I wasn't in the classroom, but you can't be around education and not know how to teach. And remember, you don't have to start with a lot of money. This is Carlene again from before. She's not starting with a large account, but she's learning how to trade. So I'm going to tell you more about my course, but let me real quick, in the chat box, I'm going to put the link to my course so you guys have it. It's investwithteri.com. That's the place to purchase. And then you guys can actually use promo code for tonight. I'm giving this promo code. Use promo code LIFESKILLS when you check out, and it'll give you an extra 10% off. And if you purchase today, so I have some bonuses that are going away tonight at midnight. So if you purchase tonight, you also get a live call with me, so we can talk through your situation. I can help you with coaching. And usually the only people that get live coaching calls are the VIPs. And then you also get a copy of my watch list. So, Toy says Annette gave you great reviews. She said I'd be crazy not to invest. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Well, okay, let's keep going. So y'all can go to that investwithteri.com as I'm talking and as you learn more. But so the thing that I cover in my class is my 7-step strategy to invest. And I've been trading for 9 years. And the first part of that 9 years, I was just trying to figure out my own algorithm. And nothing seemed to work. Like I kept losing on stocks, picking the wrong companies, getting in at the wrong time. It wasn't until I took some classes where I put those classes with what I had experienced as a trader and came up with my own strategy. And that strategy is what's helped me get to my $1,000 a day. So that's what I teach my students now, my 7-step Invest with Teri method. And come on, class. There we go. This is for everybody. So we do start. Some people are like, Teri, I'm a novice. Is it going to be easy for me? Yes, we start from the beginning. So the novices, you're good. We start in the very first class with Intro to the Stock Market. But then I have some more advanced traders, and they're like, Teri, I just need to learn how to not lose money. Our second class is risk management. And as we talked about, how do you protect your portfolio and not lose money? And then I have some people too that are like, well, Teri, I feel like I kind of got that down, but I don't know when is the right time to get in and out of a trade. That's when we go into reading charts, and that's the third class in the system, reading charts. How do you know when to get in and out? But anybody can take this class because we start from novice and we work our way up to more advanced. And the course includes 3 different pieces. So it starts with the online curriculum, and that's what you get immediate access to as soon as you enroll. And I do videos kind of similar to this. I have PowerPoint presentations and videos, and I'm instructing you on how to trade and each different part. Then we go into group coaching calls. So starting next week, next Monday, I'll start doing group coaching calls to walk students through parts of the curriculum that they don't understand and to answer any questions. And then we have this awesome community. Our Facebook group is amazing. So you have students now that have been with me for a year or more. So like Annette that was just in, if I signed up on September 19th, okay, John, we'll talk to you, but no, this promo code is special for this week, and it actually goes away this week. So sorry on that. It's really special promo code just for this week. But in the comments with Annette, Annette's been with me for like a year and a half. So she's able to go into the group, and all my other students too that are older students, they can come into the Facebook group and give comments to all the new students and answer questions. So it's just this really great community. Today I put on there a post about, hey, what are you looking at for earnings season? So everybody's putting in there their different companies and what the earnings date is. So it's just it's nice to have multiple sets of eyes looking at things. And then once again, talking about what's in the course. So each one of these things we covered today has a full-blown class with several modules and homework that you'll be going through online. How to read charts and then advanced strategies. And then I go into VIP section. So many of my students, when I first started last year, wanted to keep learning. They didn't want to stop. So I created a whole VIP section for them. And that's when we talk about how to make money when the stock market goes down. We do some more advanced things like gaps and Globex trading. And then we do options. So I actually teach stocks and options in my course. I do not teach Forex or futures, just if anyone has that question. I do stocks and options, but the charting techniques that I teach, you can use that in futures and Forex. So these are all the things that you get in the class. You get the open portfolio, picking good companies, placing the trade, mistakes that cost you money, solutions to protect your account, reading charts, shorting, gap trading, external hours trading, which is Globex, exponential moving averages, and option trading. All of that is included in the course. And this is some of my VIPs. They are making the $1,000 a day mark. Like they are making the $1,000 a day club. This is LaQuery. She made hers. And actually, I have a whole video of LaQuery. Just last month, she told me she had made $3,000 in a day. And her biggest question for me was, Teri, like, is this real? Like, have you ever wondered, like, or felt like you were making too much money? And I was like, LaQuery, that is a good first world problem to have, to wonder if you're making too much money. And someone says, does the promo apply for the payment plan? No, the promo is only for the pay in full options. Do you do supply and demand trading like OTA? Yes. So OTA is one of my competitors, but I do like their strategy. So yes, mine is actually very similar to them. It's a little different, of course, because I'm talking about like my trading plan, but like our ways of thinking are very similar. Yes. And then that's Gerald. He also made the $1,000 a day club. All right, and then community, this is a Facebook group I was telling you guys about. Let me go back because I don't want to like waste our time. Like these are all the comments that are in our Facebook group. So this one was right here. Derek was telling us about one of his wins and how he had made some money and he was so excited. Gabriel was talking about one of his wins and how he had made $2,500 and he was shocked. Then Carlene was asking the group, excuse me, what they were looking at, like what are they trading? And this actually gives us really great ideas because there's oftentimes somebody's looking at a chart and we all trade the same because I've taught everyone how to trade. So when someone's looking at a chart in my group, we know that they're looking at the same supply and demand. Somebody said that, so now it's in my head. Zones, though, we're looking at the same thing, which is an asset because there's a lot of trading groups where people are trading differently, and so it's just confusing because everyone's trading in different ways and you just don't know what they're talking about. But not in this group. This group, everyone's really supportive because they're all trading the same way. And then I told you guys about the group coaching calls that will start next week, and they'll go for 7 weeks. So we'll do once a week the trade and travel group, which is the first part of those classes I was telling you about. We have calls on Monday. The VIP students, we do smaller group calls, and we have calls on Tuesday. And so this is one of my VIP students. So one of the things that she says, and I personally coach her too because she's a VIP. One of the things she's told me is, Teri, I appreciate you because you really helped me to eliminate the woulda, coulda, shouldas. And that was something that as a trader, you've got to get out of that mindset, but you also have to put in a risk management plan. And before she had actually made $300,000 in trading, but then she lost a significant amount of that money. And because she didn't have a trading plan, which I provided, and she didn't have a risk management plan, which I provided. So she will tell you anytime, like, thank you, Teri. Like even here, no woulda, coulda, shoulda, trying to stay out of the mindset and FOMO. That's some things that I taught her. And this was a cool one. It's a small amount, but she was trading in her retirement account, which if somebody is wondering, well, how do I get the money to trade? You can always move your old 401ks or your old retirement into a self-directed IRA and then practice with your retirement funds. That's what I did when I was first learning. I had left a couple jobs in the past, and so I moved that money over to self-directed IRA, and then I would trade with that money and let it grow. But she did this one, and her profit was, it's a small amount on here, but the profit was 273% return. So she always wants me to share that because she's like, Teri, I had a trade that was 300% of return. So anyway, let's quickly talk about the price. If you were to go to a university, the university would charge you $80,000 because most of the time you have to do an MBA. And guys, feel free to put your questions in. I will answer them right after we finish this. So most of the time you have to get an MBA, and that costs you $80,000 or more, thinking about housing and trips and food. Or you could go to a trade school. So like one of my competitors, they charge about $20,000 per class. The one that I went to charged $20,000 per class. The one that Joanna went to charged $45,000 for all the things that she was trying to learn with investing. So you could go to a school like that. My class has actually been, I've had some consultants look at my class. They say that it's actually valued at $20,000. Between the coaching calls, the curriculum, and I have now hours of curriculum because every time I see something, I'll kind of add in some tweaks. And the quality of everything, it's $20,000 in value. But I'm actually giving away everything. So all 7 of those classes and the group coaching call and all of the bonuses for $5,000 today. Let me move this out the way so y'all can see it. And then somebody is like, oh my God, Teri, $5,000, by the way, is super great. Again, I paid $20,000 per class. So for everything I'm teaching you, this actually is an amazing price. But somebody may say, and let me quickly show you again what's covered in that $5,000. So you get how to open your brokerage account, picking good companies, placing a trade, protecting your portfolio, pricing the trade, pushing forward, large group coaching call, short selling, gap trading, moving averages, options trading, and personal coaching for $5,000. That's a lot that you get. And you do get lifetime access. I saw someone ask, like, do you get lifetime access? Yes, you get lifetime access to the course and to the calls. And if you don't quite have the whole 5,000 yet, you can start with the first part, the first 4 classes for just $19.97. So that may be helpful for you right now if you're like, Teri, I really want to get started, but I don't have $5,000. That's okay. Start at the $19.97 level, and then you can always upgrade later to the $5,000 and just pay the difference. And somebody was wondering, yes, Howard, I am the coach for the VIPs. I am. How personal is the coaching? Well, on Tuesdays, thank you, Kristen. Good question. On Tuesdays, we've been having small group coaching calls, and there's usually about 10 to max like 20 people on those calls. And then I talk to them about what they're trading. We cover a little bit of curriculum, and those are once a week. All of those students in the VIP program can also do office hours with me, and I do office hours on Wednesday. What I find is usually those calls are so intimate, they get all their questions answered on Tuesday, so they don't need the Wednesday calls, but they are available. So you'll get a link to my Calendly, and then you'll be able to schedule one-on-one time. And we do it through Zoom, kind of like this. Yeah. And then, oh, here, let me keep going, and then I'll get back to the questions. So feel free to keep putting your questions in there. But that's what you're getting. And then there are some other bonuses with this. So hashtag Team No Excuses. For those who say you don't have enough money to start, TradeStation is actually refunding 100% of the cost of my class for my students. So when you're paying, usually, and this is a little different now, because we just had all these announcements about E-Trade and different brokers going to 0 commissions, but usually you have to pay a commission for each trade. TradeStation actually is refunding 20% of those commissions back into your account until you pay for the cost of my class. So you literally have nothing to lose, because as you're trading, they will give you the money back. Also, they've put us on this lower commission plan. So they put us on a plan where we were only paying 1 cent per share. And then that plan, though, usually costs $100 a month. Like, it usually has a fee. And you guys should check this out, because I know that, you know, it's all the rage right now, the 0 commission plans. But check to see, are you paying 0 commission to trade, but then having an overhead fee? Like, oh, it's $100 a month, but then all your trades are free. Because what TradeStation did for us is usually the plan for 1 cent per share is $100 a month. And they waived that $100 a month fee. So just by being in my class, you save $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year. That's almost the cost of the class, right? So you're saving on fees, you're paying less in commission, and then if you do pay anything, they're refunding that until you pay off the cost of my class. So TradeStation is a wonderful partner of my school, and that is a huge value that you get as a part of the Trade and Travel family. Another thing that's really cool about partnering with TradeStation, and I like them for several reasons. I like that they have really strong entry time, like you can get in and out of your trade super quick. I noticed with Merrill Lynch and some of the other brokers, there's a little lag time, so you don't ever get in at the right time. But TradeStation is super fast. They also let you do 2 exits. So and I'm not speaking bad on any broker. I think all the brokers are great. But when I traded with E-Trade, they'd only let you have 1 exit at a time. So if you needed to protect yourself on the downside, you had to put in your stop. Or if you wanted to get out at a certain target, you could put in your exit, but you couldn't put in both, which is called a bracket order. With TradeStation, they let you put in both. And then one of the cool things and bonuses about the program is when you fund your account with $500, they actually let you trade in their simulated account with fake money to practice. So all of my students, when many of them, and you guys may have this question too, like how much do you need to start? I would start with 500, fund the account with 500, and then while you're learning, practice in the simulated account with fake money until you see some consistent returns. Once you see some consistent returns and you know how good of a trader you are, then you can decide how much real money you'll put in your account. And I try to tell people that your goal should be 1% of your cash amount. Like that's your daily goal, and you can kind of blow that out to a weekly goal, but that's how you can start figuring out how much you'll actually need as a trader. I know I'm giving you way, way more info than you wanted, but I have lots to teach. So then the last fear is, oh, I don't have any time, right? And we talked about that. You don't have time to do research, so you don't know what companies to pick. Well, if you get the course by midnight, you're actually getting my watch list. So this is a bonus that's included with the course. So you're getting all of that, which is actually a $26,000 value. And then we've also added in this conversation, the session with me tonight. So you also get that session with me, which is another value. And on here, I say that the value is only $250, but really, guys, my time is getting so much more precious. Like this really should be like $1,000 value, like literally. But in this session, we'll set up a one-on-one. It'll be a Zoom call, and we can talk through whatever you want to talk about, whether that's the course or something else. I suggest, like, as you're buying the course right now, I would suggest saving your one-on-one. Like, save it until you've gone through the course a bit, and then once you've learned some things and you come to a place where you feel a little confused or you just want some help or extra advice, then use your one-on-one. But either way, if you buy the course by tonight, you get the one-on-one. After midnight tonight, and we'll probably do midnight Pacific Standard Time, but after midnight tonight, then I'm not giving out that session anymore unless you're a VIP, because the VIPs will get a link. So all of that value is $27,247 in value, and you're getting all of that for just $5,000. And don't forget the Life Skills promo. So you're getting 10% off of this today. If you go to investwithteri.com, at the bottom it has a link to the VIP. Click the VIP, enroll, and put in Life Skills as the promo code. It'll take $500 off of this. So you'll get it for $4,500. And actually, even easier, if you go to investorsavvy.org, I think I already programmed the 10% off bonus in there. So go to investorsavvy.org and it'll give you this $5,000 VIP course for $4,500. So you're getting really good value. And if you can't afford that, you can start with the Trade and Travel program, which is $19.97, and then upgrade later for an extra $3,000 to the VIP. Yeah, so that's everything. That's really cool. Told you guys about the investorsavvy.org. Yep, that's what the enrollment's going to look like. And that 10% off is going to be on the paid in full. So if you do the payment plan, you end up spending a little bit more for this. So I encourage you, if you can, to do the pay in full option, get that 10% off. And this is anyway cheaper than the payment plan. But either way it goes, get in where you can. Get in. All righty. All right, so that's everything. As soon as you enroll, you get immediate access to the course. They're all online. We start our group coaching calls soon, so get into them. Like you'll get an email about those as well. I told you guys about all of this with a 10% off fast action plan. All right. Yes. So let's look at the questions and see what questions you have. Stop sharing. All right. So questions. Feel free to put more questions in here. So how do I get your watch list? John, once you enroll in the class, it's in the Picking Good Companies module. John says, yep, if you signed up last month, you do. You'll also see an email, John. Sorry, excuse me. You'll also see an email coming out soon, John, with that watch list as well. Crystal says, what is shorting? So shorting is making money as the stock market goes down. So if you can just imagine, like say you had an iPhone. Where's my phone? Okay, I don't see my phone to like really do the example, but say you had an iPhone and you sold it to someone for $1,000. So you sold it for $1,000. And then you found it on eBay again for $600. So you bought it back for $600. So you sold it, you had gotten $1,000 of cash, and then you went and bought it back lower for $600. So now you have your iPhone back and you have $400 of extra cash, right? Because you had sold it for $1,000 and bought it back at $600. You keep the difference. That's what shorting is. You're going to sell the stock pretty expensive at a higher price, then you're going to buy it back lower and you get to keep the difference. So that's shorting. Other questions. So for margin, if I plan to, okay, hold on one second. So for margin, if I plan to start with 2,000, I can really trade with 8,000? Yes. So the minimum amount in TradeStation to use their margin, which is 4 times the cash amount, is $2,000. Your daily buying power will be 8,000. There are some rules around that. So because it's meant for day traders, it's meant to give you a little bit more liquidity so you can get in and out of trades faster. You're gonna have $8,000 worth of buying power, but you'll need to sell those positions quickly. So within a day or 2 days, you'll need to exit out of the position. But yes, you have access to the full amount as your buying power with a margin account. And like I said, guys, in my class, we'll talk more about how to manage your risk and how to work with that margin. And yes, if you signed up before, it does come with my watch list. Right now, at the end of the Picking Good Companies module, I go through each one of the stocks in my watch list. And then also we just added, because we're always updating and adding to the course, we just added an attachment with my watch list. How are the cash out fees with TradeStation? Are there any minimums? So no, there aren't any minimums, Nia, but to open the first account, you have to open it with $500. So that is, you do have to fund the account with $500 to get started. Especially to use like the simulated account and things, yeah. All right. Terry, if I do TNT, trade and travel, and upgrade later, do I still get the 4 coaching calls? So no. Okay, so let me rephrase that. If you start with trade and travel, you get the group coaching calls. When you upgrade, yes, you'll get access to personal coaching calls, but you don't get it until you're actually in the VIP program. So you'll need to actually upgrade, and then you can get access to calls. Are there any bonuses with the 2000 class? Yes, Brianne, that watch list and this one, if you get it tonight, the one coaching call with me is included tonight. And then I think this is Kristen said, would I be able to follow your course with a different brokerage account, or must it be TradeStation to really follow? Kristen, actually, yes, you could use a different brokerage account. I don't specify that you have to use mine, but I just know that TradeStation has done quite a bit with lowering our fees and like paying for my course for my students. So it's a good one to choose from, but you don't have to use mine. How long? Okay. So Kalina says that's awesome. How long is the $100 a month waived? 1 year or a lifetime? It's waived for a lifetime. And then, how do you factor in commission fees and capital gains taxes? I get the question about taxes often, but when you're a short-term trader, your income is actually taxed like regular income. So the gains that you make from trading are taxed like regular income. You would add it to your W-2 income, or it'd be the same as getting a bonus at work or a raise at work. They just tax it like regular income. So you're not paying some extra high percentage or something like that. It's just taxed at the same rate as your regular income. I think why people think that it's different is because if you had a longer term investment like over 20 or over a year, over 12 months, then the maximum tax rate is 15%. So yes, that's a pretty good tax rate, but if you don't have a very high income, you would have been at that income level anyway. So it's really whatever your income level will dictate your tax rate on short-term gains, but it's not something extra. Okay. So the trade and travel course is $2,000 to start. Then I can pay $3,000 later for the VIP program, just to clarify. Yes, that's correct. Once you're in the class, then I send an upgrade link if you want to upgrade later to the VIP. But there's no additional cost outside of that. My whole course is $5,000, and then you can just get started sooner with $2,000 if you want to start the first 4 classes. But there's no additional upgrades outside of that. Okay, someone asked, should we post questions here in the Q&A box? I'm looking at the chat box, so if someone is waiting for me to answer the Q&A, you can go ahead and put it here in the chat box. And then someone said, can you make close to $1,000 a day off the first 4 classes, or do you need all 7? Graylin, I would encourage you to get all 7 because, and here's why. Because I teach you how to short and how to make money as the stock market is going down in the VIP class. And so what happens with the first 4 classes, we're focusing on how do you make money when the market goes up? How do you know when to buy and then when to sell when it's higher? But there's some days where the market's not going up, it's going down. So you need to know how to make money when the market goes down from those VIP classes. So I honestly think if you're really wanting to become a professional trader, definitely do all 7 classes so that you can make money when the market goes up and down. But can you still make money from the first 4 classes? For sure. A lot of my students are making good money on just the first 4 classes. Okay. How personal is the coaching? So if you do the VIP program, I send out my calendar and we do Zoom calls. So it'll feel kind of like this one-on-one, but you'll have just you and me. So that's personal. But like I said, I do small group coaching with the VIPs on Tuesday. And a lot of them feel like that small group coaching is even better because somebody might have a question that they didn't think about. Somebody might be trading something that, they're wondering about. So the bigger classes, the group coaching can have like 100 people on the call, but the small group is like 10 to 20. So you get real personal feedback in addition to if you signed up for like a one-on-one class. Okay, good question. So Tanisha said, what if you already have some trading experience? Is this the right class for me? Yes, Tanisha, especially if you're not using charts yet. If you're using charts, then, if your strategy is working, go for it. But if not, then I think this is a really good class, especially because it can teach you how to read charts. And everyone who is trading should learn how to read charts. The reason why is because it will tell you the right time to get into a trade and out of a trade. Even if it's the right company, if you trade it at the wrong time, you can lose money. So you need to know how to time the trade with charts. I think lifetime access, I'm kind of going up, but let me come down to the new messages. Okay, so Jay says, do you prefer shorting versus puts? Jay, for me, so what he's asking, guys, is do I prefer um, making money as stocks go down, or do I prefer making money as options go down? And Jay, for me, I do both. For me, it depends on the time frame. If I feel like it's going to move really fast, then I might do a put. But if I feel like I don't know how long it's going to take, then I may do a short on the stock, because stocks don't have to worry about the time frame versus options do. Yes, Tanisha, I teach how to read charts in the trade and travel class. You learn my whole 7 steps in the trade and travel class, but you become an expert on how to make money as the market goes down, and you learn how to use that strategy on options in the VF. So Toy says, is this like Forex? Trading stocks and options is just another asset class. So if you know how to use charts to trade Forex, then it may be similar. But what I teach with my 7-step strategy, you could use on Forex, but I'll be teaching stocks and options. Let me just see that I'm missing. That's great information. Thank you. The tax stuff had me concerned. Yeah, so it's not bad at all. Matter of fact, when I first quit my job and started trading full time, I still got money back because because I didn't have as high of an income anymore. And so my income was just based on my trading returns, and your active trading is just taxed like regular income. So no, it's not something to really worry about. I personally don't think. But like I said, disclaimer, I am not your financial planner or giving you any personal advice. You'd have to talk to your own accountant. If you do the payment plan, will I be able to start with the new class? Yes, Neil. If you do the payment plan, you can start right away. So you can join in with us. And we're starting new coaching calls next week. So yeah. Complete novice, so please forgive me if silly. Is this real money, money I can access immediately and either deposit or cash out when I sell? Yes, Kalina. Great question. That's not silly. Yes, you're going to attach your brokerage account to your banking account, and it'll be like a direct deposit. You know how you can kind of transfer money between accounts? So it'll be like that. When you make money in your trading account, you'll be able to transfer that over to your checking account or savings account and use that money for bills or whatever else you're trying to use it for. I'm just going down to make sure I've answered all the questions. And I do see the time, so I will let you guys go soon because I know that it's getting pretty late. How are options and stocks different? Great question, Kendra. So stocks are a derivative of options, which is going to sound like, what? What is talking about? Okay, so a stock has to deal with a company. So let's just talk about like Apple stock. Apple stock is a certain share of the Apple company. So it's it's just a piece. You could say it's like a piece of the company. When you're trading options, what they do with options is they bundle 100 shares of the company, so 100 shares of Apple stock, and you're actually just borrowing it. You borrow it and you pay a fee to borrow the stocks. You trade with them and then you give them back. If you've made some money, you get to keep the money. If you didn't make money, then you actually just have to give up that premium that you paid to borrow the stocks. So it's a bit more difficult to understand trading options than the stock, but it's just another way of trading the companies without having to put as much money up front. So that's what options are. Christian says, "What time?" Oh, I guess I just did come out of nowhere with the options. But yes, options is just another asset class. There's forex, which is currencies. There's futures, which is commodities like oil, corn, soybeans. That's futures market. Then there's the stock market, and stocks is companies, and then options is just another way of trading stocks, but it's just a little different. So we say a derivative of stocks. What time are the weekly coaching calls? They're going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time on Mondays, and the VIP call is at 7 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays. But if you guys are just getting started, I want you to focus first on the first 4 classes. So all of you guys would focus first on the trade and travel. And then once you finish the trade and travel, then you start going into the Tuesday calls with the VIPs. And one heads up, you guys are like the last cohort that will get live calls with trade and travel. Starting next year, I'm planning to do live calls with just the VIPs. So definitely get in now if you feel like you need live group coaching calls, because you'll be able to do that still with trade and travel this year. All right. Thank you, thank you. Oh, wonderful, John. Wonderful. Nice. Catalina's like, thank you. Wonderful. Toy says, I'll answer a few more that I can, and then I'll jump off for you guys. And thank you guys for coming on the call. Let me just say now, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you learned something tonight. I'm going to stay and keep answering questions, but feel free to drop off. Have a good night, and do know that the bonuses of a live call with me and the watch list will end tonight. And I will say the watch list is available in the curriculum, but that live group coaching call, that has a deadline on it. So that will end tonight. So get in now if you feel like you want to have some time with me and you're not able to buy the full VIP plan just yet. So look forward to seeing you guys in the class, and then I'll stay here for a little while longer to answer a few more questions. Go to investwithteri.com, and the promo code is Life Skills to get that extra 10% off. Do you manage? Okay, so Toy says, is it cash only when trading? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but yes, you do have to put cash into your account, and then you'll be trading with that money. So I'm not quite sure what other way there would be. Like, I'm guessing maybe you're saying, could you use credit or credit card? I've heard some people try to take a like a balance transfer and then trade with that money, but I'd rather you just trade with your simulated fake money first versus having to pay interest on a balance transfer and then practice with that. Don't practice with a balance transfer. Learn to get good first, and then you can start practicing with your real money. Do you manage accounts and do trading for clients as a service? No, I don't. I considered that for a little while, but no, I'd rather trade my own accounts and then teach others how to trade their own money. That has been something that brings me more joy. And I travel so much. I don't want anything to be a burden like, Teri's in South Africa for a month. What's happening to my money? I just don't want to get all those phone calls. So no, I I trade my own money and then teach everyone else how to trade them. How does the travel part fit into the course? So Green, I don't teach traveling, but my whole thing, like the whole reason why I trade is to travel. So my students will tell you that I have literally called them and talked to them from everywhere in the world. Like, one time I called them from Fiji and was like, hey. So the goal is, though, that whatever money you make, you can use that money to fund your dreams. So it doesn't necessarily have to be traveling. It could be time with your grandchildren. It could be time with family, paying off student loans, paying off other debt, buying a home. Whatever goal you have, you could use your money to make money and pay for that goal. So that's truly what it is. So the travel part for me was my goal and what I use the money for. What time is trading done? Is it on the weekend as well? So Keisha, with stocks and options, they actually are only during the weekdays, and they close at 4 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Central time. If you are trading a different asset class like futures, then they trade over the weekend. How long will coaching calls last? Yearly? So they actually, I do them in spurts. Like each quarter, I have a cohort. So this quarter, we're doing 7 calls. They'll be every Monday until the last week of November. And then we'll take a break for December. And and then we'll come back in January, and the VIPs at that point will still have like 7 to 8 coaching calls. So we'll do once a quarter, and then I'll usually go for a little while at a time. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Oh, wonderful. Nice to have you in the class, Howard. He said, I just signed up for your VIP. I'm looking forward to working with you. That's wonderful. Thank you. Can we create an entity to trade stocks? Sharon, so great question, but I would say start as an individual, because when you create an LLC and trade under an LLC, you get charged a lot more. They charge you a lot more fees to trade as a company. So I would actually trade as yourself first, and then if you later decide that you need an LLC, you can. Oh, thank you, Donna. He said, thanks for this webinar. That's what I was saying. Okay, thanks. Is the practicing in a simulator called paper trading, or is that different? Yes, Kristen, that's the same. Paper trading is practicing in a simulator. Where in the world is Teri San Diego? Yes, Allie, so true. Did you say group coaching calls would not be offered for the trade and travel class next year? Yes, Kendra. So Kendra, what I've been thinking about, and I haven't made this official, but what I've been thinking about is we now have over 48 hours of group coaching call recordings in the course, because every time I do group coaching calls, I record them. So now I have all of the 8 calls from the winter, 8 calls from the spring, 8 calls from the summer cohort, and now we're going to have 7 more calls. That is, and each one of them is like an hour to an hour and a half. That's 48 hours of curriculum that's been added to the course. So the trade and travel class, they not only have the online curriculum, they have all of those additional, they're basically like additional classes. And so they can, I think now they have enough content where they can watch the recordings and be able to just self-pace themselves through the class. And then if someone wants live calls, then they can do the VIP program, and I can give them better service, you know, more one-on-one and talk to them. So yes, so if you want to get in on the live group coaching calls for trade and travel, then you should definitely get in on this cohort, because next cohort, because next year, the trade and travel will all be recorded calls, which is still good. Like y'all, it's over, what's that, over 16 calls. And people are already like, we want to try, you know, I don't want to put too much in the course where people can't finish. So that's kind of what I've been thinking through lately. All right. Thank you guys so much. Cynthia says, thank you. Great webinar. See you in class next week. Wonderful. Thank you guys. I will see you guys soon. Thank you a ton. So much value. Is this the last cohort for the year? Yes, Tanisha. This is the last cohort for the year. And then we'll start again next year. So it's a 4-week course. Toy, the first part is 4 classes, but I actually think you should take 2 weeks per class. That way you have time to learn the curriculum and practice. So I would calendar for 8 weeks. So you'll learn how to trade in less than 60 days. That's how I would set it up for yourself. Thank you. This was great. Okay, cool. I'm signing up. Wonderful. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you, Teri. You're so welcome, guys. So, all right. I will let you guys go. Have a wonderful night. And it's been really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right. I'll talk to you later. And don't forget, bonuses in tonight. Investwithteri.com and use promo code LifeSkills. Bye, guys.